All right, welcome back to Soul Spark Tarot. I'm your host, Mr. Renew, and today we got ourselves a nice little guided message today for this daily. As I've been pre-shuffling, I'm gonna just let y'all know the Five of Needles came out multiple times, the Tower of Moment came out multiple times, as well as the Six of Wands, or Six of Candles. So there's some changes afoot, and it feels like there's going to be like an Aries-like change to the energy. So I like to use those terms because these are personifications. A personification is something that is not real, that is given human-like qualities and behaviors towards in order to better conceive what that object is. So a lot of the Greek gods are personifications. A lot of the astro signs are personifications. It is us giving lifeless things behaviors and skills and characteristics of things living. Now, with that being said, the Aries energy is what I'm talking about here, and everyone has Aries energies in them, but the important thing about Aries energy is it is the initiator. It's the first, right? It's the first zodiac. That is the birth of our sun. That is how everything is viewed. Imagine our world and our realm and our reality to be a rising sign of an Aries. So everything that we know when we do, it comes out from that warlike energy. But those are what we call eons. And so now, because we've reached the point to where between now and some other point in time, we've already transitioned into the age of Aquarius. It doesn't really matter to us on the micro scale, but the eon of the age of Aquarius is already here. And so instead of seeing it as a rising sign as an Aries, now we got to see it as a rising sign as an Aquarius. Now, I personally do not know any rising sign Aquariuses. I've never heard of one, seen one, or met one. I know they exist though, obviously, but I never met one. But I know a lot of Aquarius. Sorry. I know a lot of Aquarius sun signs and a few Aquarius moon signs, but a lot of people understand Aquarius energy to be unique, awkward, individual, creative, airy, detached, moody, but at the same time, beautiful, helpful. It's the shining light, the star, the leader. All of the same attributes that you would apply to a Leo, you got to apply them to an Aquarius. Same thing like when you have an Aries, you got to apply the other energy, which is Libra. So in this reading, this energy today, I'm really feeling like there is an importance on opposites. But whenever you have opposites, it's all about temperance. So I don't really know what else. I don't have too much more to say on that. Outside of that, I hope y'all doing well, man. I know there's some, again, changes are afoot. It was weird energy yesterday. Today it's more familiar, but it's not anything that I am extremely privy to. The reason why I say that is just because of my chart makeup. I'm aware of it, and I'm neutral in this Aries sense, but I do desire a lot of Aries-like energy because of that Mars. And so, because I have Mars energy in my talking house, but my talking house of partnerships, and it's retrograde, this Mars energy says I talk to myself a lot. Sometimes I'm extremely aggressive, and sometimes when it comes out, it's aggressive to others as if they're questioning me like I question myself. But when I ask questions and then they respond in a way that makes me say, respond like, damn, that was stupid. How could you not know? And things like that. A little arrogance with it. It doesn't, it just gives me a chance to try to refocus and re-perceive. And so last night I came to an epiphany. Ever since I started on my spiritual journey, I've wanted to really try to help people. But then when I had that major tower moment in my life, I made the decision that I was obligated to really get out here and prove to show people that you gotta do shit, you gotta make certain changes, you gotta behave in a certain way, you gotta. And as I get closer and closer to finishing this program, I'm grateful for my current professor because she's given me a couple of insights that's helped me out. And one of the major things that I've learned is that I don't have a strong boundary in service of others. And that's when that Mars energy comes out of me and it comes off a little arrogant or pretentious, just for the simple fact that I do know, and I think about this shit over and over and over and over and over all the time. So whenever I hear it on the outside, especially with people who are supposed to be in positions to where they should know this shit in my mind, and then especially if they're in a position to where they're asking for help but they're demanding certain things, it irritates and irks the fuck out of me because you're the one looking for help. But again, that's okay. Just like I've been letting people physically live their lives and just say, hey, if you fuck with me, then, I'm going to do what I need to do. And I'm not opposed to do anything. That's the thing. I'm not obligated. So I'm not obligated to inject myself into people's lives when they're having a bad day and they look like they're about to come fuck with me or fuck up my day. I just gotta have faith that, whatever gonna happen, and more so visualize it happening in the way that I see fit and appropriate. But also being prepared, to take action if I need to. So the same thing with this, I'm not obligated to help anybody. I'm not. I'm only obligated to help myself. And I'm learning to shift that vibe into myself a lot more and a lot stronger because, honestly, for the simple fact that I really, really, really want to help people, but I don't want to help all people. And I'm not obligated to help all people, which means I'm not obligated to lead or help anybody on a spiritual pathway. I'm not. And I've been having that in my mind for almost 10 years, that it was my job, it was my duty, it was my responsibility to help these people. Nope. I'm starting to really drag that energy out from the classroom and put it in my day-to-day life, which is my Aries energy. And because it's just open space right there, meaning I have no planets, I am able to really inject, and I'm impressionable in that situation. But if I impose my own impressions in that space first, then I don't have to be obligated to the things that I feel like I need to be obligated towards. So here's an example. An example of the obligation is I'm not obligated to be in the gym every single day like I feel I should be obligated to. I'm not obligated to copy other people's means of their own day-to-day lives and situation. Science says that we need to work out 3 times a week, right? But they don't tell you what to work out. And so the way that I work out and the way that I've always worked out has been very intense. I don't need to do certain things that other people have to do. I'm not going to be a gym rat because I've been in the gym all my life pretty damn much, man. just doing different exercises. What's the fucking point if I can't go out here and do a backflip? That's how I feel. But that's just me because, again, I didn't wait until I was fucking 27 years old to fucking value the gym. I was 7 in the fucking gym. Now I'm damn near 34. So I'm not worried about not being in the gym and, you know, my lady being in the gym all the damn time. I'm not worried about the dudes in there who, you know, might have something a little bit more close to her just for the fact that they do love being in the gym. Nah, I don't give a fuck. I care to be healthy, man. Most of them motherfuckers in the gym can't write you a real, like, workout plan that incorporates nutrition, that incorporates stress management, that incorporates time management, that incorporates career development and professional development. That all of those things go hand in hand. But no, if you're a gym rat, the only thing that matters to you are your macros, your micros, and your proteins, and the workout that you're doing. Like, and to me, that's so rudimentary. I'm not an elementary kid anymore. I'm not a 7-year-old trying to figure this shit out. I'm not 14, or excuse me, I'm not 11 discovering protein powders and shakes for the first time, making my own blend. I've been doing this for so much longer than these so-called experts. So it's like, for me, I don't want to be obligated to the idea of needing to be obligated in order to be viewed as successful. So taking that back to our Aries energy, the Aries energy is like a baby. Again, a baby does not care. And I pulled the sun card for myself today because I was, again, feeling a little low, but it's just different. The only reason why I feel low is because I don't have any planets in my 6th house to amplify those energies in a specific way. So again, it's just more mellow. That's all it is. It's not low. It's just mellow. But the point is that the same thing with these cards. I'm not obligated to get here, sit on here and tell a message every single day. So the difference is, just like a lot of the gym rats, they want to be in the gym. I actually want to be here telling these stories. I want to be here giving this advice. I hate the feelings that I be gaining at the end of the day when I'm helping people. And, you know, people just don't value what they get. And it's cool because I do value what I receive. But like yesterday, I had the issues with the app and shit. And it just showed me like it's not the end all be all. And it's never the end all be all. It's never the end all be all. It's just a matter of where you're currently at, and what you've previously done. So the obligation is what is being removed within me because, again, just like when I'm working and I have somebody who's trying to talk crazy to me, I'm not obligated to entertain this bullshit, right? I'm not obligated to continue to work whenever my mind says we need to. Again, my body is not obligated to always follow what my mind thinks it should. It's not obligated to, which is why people get hurt and things. Again, sit the fuck down. We don't need to do this kind of thing. So it's really about understanding this Aries energy, and the Aries energy should not be changed. It needs to be balanced. And that means that the Aries energy, when applied, needs to be applied in certain places in different amounts. And that is how an Aries needs to learn how to operate, just like a young baby. A young baby needs to learn their own strengths, learn their weaknesses, learn their positions, learn the things that are dangerous, learn the things that are safe. It is in a learning mode, but it's not obligated to a single thing, which is why babies go from place to place to place to place. Especially when you get into your toddler years, your twos. Your twos and your threes. Terrible twos is what they say. That's because that person, that baby, has spent enough time realizing its own power. It's not just learning what things are. Now it's going out and discovering what things are. And it's obligated to its own self. And that is the beautiful thing about the Aries energy. Because, look, This is the Aries energy and the world. This is a new start to the world. That is the first open card that I did after I shuffled it. This is literally the Aries energy. This is the world, the end. Pisces energy going back into the Aries energy. So it is crazy that when you're in this 2 stage or this amplified 1 stage, that is where you're doing things. And so a lot of this stemmed from me looking at Upwork jobs. People are looking for life coaches, but they're trying to like be so specific, and it's weird because you can't tell a person how to coach you. You got to be receiving the coaching because you got the problem, they got the solution. Now, if you want verification and justification, that could come in certain forms, but I can't give you a project that I worked on with a person with another person. It's their personal project. So you can understand based upon the story, but I can't just show you their charts. What if you're a competitor? What? Crazy. So, with that being said, let's get started on the reading. I appreciate y'all letting me yap. I tried to make it a little shorter, but it is what it is. So we got the star energy coming out first with the potions of 9. So the potions of 9 is not necessarily just having all of your fulfillments. It's being able to hold and house your fulfillments in the right spots and locations. You're choosing to organize your pantry in your home. Again, that's the same thing. You're choosing to organize your emotions in a way. So for me, I'm now seeing through the darkness. That's what Zero is all about. Zero, this character, is all about being able to see in the dark as the leader, because there is something that's leading Zero, which is his shiny nose. Same thing with Rudolph. This is the depiction of Rudolph. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was a depiction of something that was treated as if it was useless, something that it was odd, it was weird, quirky. All of those Aquarian-like energies. But then when shit hit the fan, nobody could think outside the box. Nobody can do anything outside of the regular scope. This Rudolph came out and was like, hey, yo, bro, your nose is shining. Santa Claus was like, yo, bro, we need you. Go ahead and be my headlight. And the same thing with Zero. Zero was able to go and be the headlight. So we're taking this Aries energy and we're trying to lead the way into something, but we're in the dark. And that's where I think the mellow energy comes from. Just like in the dark time, you don't move as quickly as you do in the light. You don't move around your house as quickly in the night with the lights off as if you do in the day with the lights on, because you can't see, especially if you got other people in your home. That means things might not be in the same exact space. So you got to be more cautious. So as we're all transitioning and being more cautious, that you have to realize there's a part of you that is the headlamp. There's a part of you that's spearheading, being that Rudolph, being the Zero, being the star. There's a part of you that is shining the light. And as you shine this light, again, it was not an obligation. They didn't even want you, bro. You got to remember, you were rejected. So because you were rejected at some point in time, you got to start to realize and trust that this energy here within me can't be rejected by myself. You can't reject the part of yourself that's been ridiculed and shamed by others. And for me, I still don't know exactly what that is, but as I'm talking about it, I'm starting to get closer and closer to it, because it has to deal with me and my worth as I'm serving people. So when I pulled the Sun card, it was earlier today for myself. It was for the Thoth deck because I wanted to get deep, right? And it Resh or Rosh, like Rosh Hashanah, right? That is the term that pops up with the sun, and it means a couple of different things. But at the end of the day, what I understand and interpret it as, it's the Nine of Wands energy. It's like that leader, that victor, that champion who's becoming weary, who's becoming drained and, demoralized. Maybe he was the champion, he just got beat, and now he's depressed. Is that energy of this like shamefulness, feeling poor, feeling ridiculed, feeling just not just like the sun. But the whole point of that is you are going through those things because you are the sun, which means that you can't see the beauty of your ownness, just like Zero and Rudolph couldn't see the beauty of their ownness until there is a situation to where they, being their own selves, not obligated to do anything outside of that, they became the fucking hero. So by you relinquishing more parts of you that you feel obligated to, that's going to help you start to see more of the areas and places that you want to be obligated towards. Like, I want to be obligated to be able to help people with these cards, even if people don't understand it. Even though I feel like I'm obligated to also build my business and participate in the holistic side of life. It is living in my mind, but there's a part of me that feels obligated to certain parts of the world still, and I gotta temper that. Let me get another card, please. How do we temper these obligations? Okay. Why should we temper these obligations? So, why should we temper these obligations versus how? Why do we need to do it? So we can move. And this is crazy. I just want to bring this up. Look, I was explaining this. Was I not? Look at Zero in the front leading the way. Zero isn't even linked in. He's not tied down like the rest of these reindeer. This nigga is floating. He's flying through the sky. So the reason why we need to move and temper these obligations is because those obligations create free movement, free form movement. So let me give an example. I've been feeling like, again, I need to get some kind of job. I've been feeling like that, right? Just because it feel like it's crunch time, bro. But every single time, like I just did yesterday, and I work, and I try to work hard and work long and do all of these things, there's always little things that fuck up. And it's like people don't understand how well you do. They only give a fuck about themselves. And even when you like do really good and better than anybody else, they don't fucking appreciate that shit. And that brings a little bit of shame and a little bit of demoralizing energy. And that makes you just not feel happy. Because you're helping people and they're like, ugh. Again, why do we need to temper our obligations? Because of the simple fact that you are not obligated. And if you move, again, I'm not obligated to help people. I can end the batch at any point, which is showing me how I can end relationships energetically at any point, which shows me I can end physical environments at any point. I can end it, and what I'm ending is my obligation towards it. So in order for us to continue to obligate ourselves, we must learn how to temper those obligations in the right spot. We're going to be obligated to things. We have egos, or we have desires. We have needs and wants. Those things are a part of life. But we need to understand that we are the life that we are living. So we must... Why must we, excuse me, why must we remove our obligations so we can move on freely with our lives? How can we do that? There's something in the mind. You have a strong controlling energy inside of your mind. The strong controlling energy inside of your mind is what is destroying you. What is destroying you is you not being able to be free. You don't feel free. You don't feel free within yourself. You don't feel freedom within your own self, which is why you are controlling your mindset in a way that was forcing you to be obligated to things you should not be. So here's another example. I've been wanting to get a job at this fucking EOS. But then at the same time, I realized that I don't want to be stuck at a position at this one location. So already, the obligation of being stuck at a single location versus the obligation of having a job that I need to come to, it is sitting terribly with me. But there's a part of me that says I need to. Then there's a part of me that's saying just get a membership. But then I don't want to be obligated to that contract because, again, I would only be using this facility for certain things and I have to pay more, which just adds on more bills to the bills I can't even fucking pay. So this here is a good example of why I need to stop feeling obligated to certain things. Because even if I was to get that job and it was a month, I'm not obligated to be there outside of the time where I say I don't want to be here. There's plenty of people who get jobs and quit, but there's a part of me that is this emperor who would want to be there, want to grow there, want to change things, want to develop and build and do all the things that an emperor would do. But again, it's not me, it's not required, it's not my obligation. But I'm forcing my mind to be there, and that is fucking killing my mind. It's killing my values. So I need to be able to take passion and action in certain places, whether I'm there or not. And I don't know really what that part means, whether I'm there or not. Let's find out what that means. Give me one more. Whether I'm there or not. This wanted to show whether I'm there or not. What does that mean? Whether I'm there or not. They want to come out. I like how these cards are coming up double. Whether I'm there or not, that creates a hangman position. It not only creates a hangman position, it puts you in a destitute state. This is that Rosh Hashanah energy, that Rosh or that Reish energy. This is the emperor, but the emperor can do it all. But when the emperor gets into his mind, or if the emperor feels obligated to certain things, the emperor gets hung up. The hangman is typically one who places himself in that situation. This is kidnap here. So it's like you're kidnapping your own opportunities. I believe we call this self-sabotage. But the point of it is that because you feel obligated, that is why you are being kidnapped by your own mindset, your own destructive mindset, your own mindset that holds the pain. And that's it. You're not able to release, which is why we need to not be obligated, because that allows us to release. So it's again, because I'm not super familiar with the Aries energy, I'm just reading it right now. This energy is coming off as, I don't know really how it feels to be completely unobligated to certain things. And I think that is what I'm learning. I think that's what this energy is trying to show us. And you have to find out which house and the influences of that house this energy is being played out in your regular life. No matter what, you're the star already. You're going to be the odd person out, but you still need to be free from the idea of being obligated. So, do I have any last messages? Most of these are majors. That's crazy. Only one of these cards, this is the only minor arcana, which means it's a minuscule aspect. That means it's something that we can all go through, we all will go through, and we're constantly going through. It's just minuscule, it's just tiny little shit, but it's big energy around it because it's This is the key to the change of your life. This right here will change your life. All you need to do in the change of your life is understand that you are not obligated to anything in your life. I think that's hard for me to say, because some of y'all got kids, man. That's hard for me to say, because some of y'all got kids, but some of these kids stress you the fuck out. Some of these kids make you want to unalive yourself. Some of these kids, they just do things to fuck you over. Some of your spouses just pain you. There's so many things in our lives that is creating these stories, that are creating these falsitudes behind our obligations. You're not obligated even to these people that you created, man, because at the end of the day, you made them, but you didn't make the choices that they're making for themselves. So, let's get, okay. We're going to get a final message from the original tarot, and we're going to be out of here. So, this is really all about the story that you've been obligated towards. The story in your mind. The stories planned out in your life. The stories that people tell you. The story that you can recall as your life. The stories that bring you pain. The stories that bring you joy. All of these things are here, but you're understanding that these things are holding back the emperor inside of you. And it's because the emperor that wants to come out, it has already done all the work. It does all the work. It is ready for the work, but it's external things that is making you question that time. It's judgment time. You gotta call judgment on the things that you feel you're obligated to, or you're told you're obligated to. Be a terrible two. Be a terrible 2-year-old. Fucking break havoc right now. Why? Because at the end of the day, all you're doing is wreaking havoc energetically on the things you're responsible to or not. So if you got a kid and they want to fuck up in school, you're not obligated to make them do anything outside of try to be better, but you are going to feel like you're obligated. So guess what? Don't feel responsible for that person's grade. Be responsible for helping that person understand the consequences of those grades. Again, you can be obligated to yourself by playing out these strategies for these people around you. Again, it's not about just saying, spouse, husband, wife, I'm going to withhold sex for you because I'm not obligated to have sex with you. You are not obligated to do anything that you don't want to, but relationships, they're predicated upon certain things. And so if you don't have a relationship that has intercourse in there, again, because you don't feel obligated, then understand that that person will feel not obligated to be in that relationship. Again, you got to understand, just like that kid, if you don't feel obligated to need to learn and do well in school, guess what? Your parents aren't going to feel obligated to give you things, to give you money, to let you go out. And then you're going to feel like you're obligated to take that power and that freedom back. No. You have to temper yourself into the right location. Temper yourself into the right location. And as we're tempering ourselves, we are understanding that the obligation to temper comes with the idea of desire. What do you desire to be obligated to? That is what's going to lead you to these false obligations being released. You should be obligated to yourself. That is where you need to be obligated to. So if your kid doesn't want to be obligated to school, don't say school then. Tell them, what are you obligated to learn? Because now you might learn something from your child and you might understand why they don't want to go to school, why they want to be in there. They probably want to learn something else. They probably want to learn how to be a different way. They probably don't see the obligation value of this traditional education system. That doesn't mean they don't want to learn or they just want to cause problems. But you're not obligated to find those things out. You're just obligated to wonder about it. And if you want to be obligated, then you should be obligated to be open. Obligate yourself to be open to receive these things that you want to be obligated to. In other words, you got to choose what you want to attach to. Choose what you want to focus on. Choose what you want to dedicate yourself towards. And choose what you want to link up with. You're not hybridizing yet. But if you don't choose and you subconsciously allow things to choose you, then guess what? They're going to start to parasitically hybridize with you into a symbiotic state. And now you are carrying things that you should not, or you're not even obligated to. Don't carry your child's stress if they want to fuck up in school. Carry the responsibility of the results, of the consequences, and of the outcomes. Hey man, I'm asking you to do certain things, and if you don't want to do it, I'm not going to be obligated to do anything with you. You're not trying to obligate yourself to my will. You're not trying to obligate yourself to my desires. So guess what? I'm not going to obligate myself to anything that you got going on either. And guess what? That doesn't mean I don't love you. That doesn't mean I don't care about you. That doesn't mean I don't appreciate you. What that means is that I want certain things and I'm obligated to get those things that I want. And if you don't want to give them to me, cool. You're not obligated to. But I'm going to get it in a new way for myself. So these are the things that I'm trying to help us understand, because I'm trying to understand myself as well. When I'm out here giving, I don't have to give to everybody. I can put in my proposals, and if you want certain things, I'm not obligated to it. You're not paying me. If you want to pay me, I already got means. I'm obligated to. I've been obligated to myself, so I have to be more confident in the things that I've already created. So as I'm presenting proposals and things on Upwork, I'm not just over here doing what the fuck I want to do any longer. What I'm doing is I'm not explaining myself. I'm simply saying, here's my link. I've already obligated myself to myself. I've built websites and landing pages, and I have testimonials of other people. I don't need to. The work will speak for itself, just like the gentleman told me the other day. And so instead of out here trying to market and promote myself like I've been feeling like I'm obligated to do in this current moment, no. What I need to do is say, hey, it's up to you, just like I would do in the classroom. You don't want to do your homework, it's up to you. But you won't do this and you won't have that, and these are your consequences. So you got choices, man. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what the end results are. So as we look at these end results, it's just about a matter of us understanding what we're obligated towards and what we're not. So let's get this final message, because I think I already just gave you the final message. But let's see what the card says to justify our final message. It's our final message. We got two. Follow your intuition about the things you need to build and create. Follow your intuition about the things that have been brought to you, that has been formulated, that you want to be obligated with, and then go create. Go collab with the people, and understand you're not obligated to collaborate with these people. It's an opportunity. It's a precious opportunity. I'm forgetting another word. But you're not obligated. So guess what? You need to find value in these networks and these connections when people come up to you, because you're not obligated. You can drop anybody like a hot skillet. And I always say that shit, because if you ain't never touched the hot skillet, you drop that shit real quick. You move your hand. So imagine you holding a hot skillet. You're going to drop that shit with quickness. Again, people need to understand that they're not obligated to have you in their lives. You're not obligated to keep people in your lives. You're not obligated to continue to work with people. You're not obligated to continue to work at places. You are obligated to your own intuitive promptings. That is your downloads from your source. Again, and your source is coagulated with the whole entire source. You must understand that this is the key. The key right here is to follow you, You have both sides of you already, and you can take both of these sides and you can present it to people, propose to people, to show and attempt to network and collab with people. Nobody's obligated. And that should take a little bit of pressure off of you when you're doing this. Again, sales is a numbers game, is what they say. What that really means is you're not obligated to get a sale from every person. So when you just simply ask, when you obligate yourself to ask with no expectations, then guess what? You're going to get sales after a certain threshold. Again, after a number of asking people, you're going to just get them, because at the end of the day, you're not talking to the right person. It's just filtering people out. They're not obligated to buy from you right now. So if you just continue to do what you're doing, guess what? The people who feel like they're obligated to get some help from a person, they're going to see you and be like, you got what I need. Hey, I'm still not obligated to give it to you, but I'm obligated to try to inquire more information from you. Tell me more about this product. Again, that's a very simple understanding, but the more times you do something, the easier it gets, right? You're not obligated to those frustrations at the beginning any longer, because you already understand with time there's going to be obstacles, and you treat the obstacles now as an opportunity. That is the idea of learning how to collaborate with yourself through these intuitive promptings. One side of you, and then the whole you. Again, imagine these three people over here in this card. This is one person. This is the person in the red. And then you, as the center of it all, is the person standing above, your higher self. So, again, be obligated to the collaborations that you bring into yourself with your own intuition. Be obligated to your own changes, your own uniqueness, your own ability to transform your own space. And then that in turn transforms the space around you, which influences people who are directly in your space. Be obligated to what you bring to the world. Don't be obligated to what you receive. Because again, just like in sales, you're going to receive a bunch of no's, and some of those no's are going to be in nasty ways. Some of those nice things are going to be in nasty ways too. We can't be obligated to these other people and their responses to what we're obligating ourselves towards. I'm obligating myself to ask you if you want to do an upsell by adding on this bundle to your coaching session. You're not obligated, but I'm not obligated to not say it. I'm obligating myself to bring it up. All you got to do is say yes or no. And guess what? If they want to yell at you, let them yell. Fuck it. Cool. I'm not obligated to even continue this conversation. Goodbye. Wait, come back. No, I'm not obligated to adhere to your fucking words when you're not obligated to adhere to mine. You don't want to hear me, I don't want to hear you. Goodbye. Well, again, it gives you the ability to not be stuck in your head, hanging, thinking about the things you cannot do or you can do, thinking about the actions you should have taken or you should not have taken. You can just sit pretty as who you are, knowing that you can, knowing that you have, knowing that you will, knowing that you have already done, and then you can move forward as a star that you are. So, I appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you guys. Don't feel obligated to do anything outside. Be more of yourself. So, that being said, peace.